Welcome back, everyone, to my first playthrough of Trails in the Sky the Third. In the last episode, Kevin finished recovering his artifact and was on his way back to Arteria when his boss, I assume, we don't know much about her yet, when his boss asked him to come to Grancel instead. So we just arrived at Grancel and we're going to take it from there. I missed this music. It's so lovely to be back here again. Republic was a wonderful place, too, but you can't beat the air here in Liberal. You wouldn't believe all that stuff happened half a year ago looking at Grancel now, either. It's all completely back to normal. The people here sure are strong for what's usually such a peaceful country. Well, it's a country ruled by a queen. Everyone knows women are tough in the face of adversity. I'm not sure whether you're a perfect example of that, or the opposite. You're right about the air here, though. It is nice. Nostalgic, almost. Makes me feel a little homesick. Your home's in Arteria, right? The place with all the really big churches and stuff? Nah, I'm not actually from Arteria. Not many people are. It's actually pretty darn small, like smaller than most states around the continent. It's where the high seat of the Septian Church is, so lots of pilgrims and clergymen gather there, but few are actually born there. Oh really? Huh. So where are you from then? Dorothy! Hi, Neil. Oh, he looks mad. I'm home. Did you miss me? Did I miss you? Of course I missed you. What in Adios's name have you been doing? I sent you to Bose. How did you end up in Calvard? You were definitely on the westbound liner. I'm sure of it. I really don't know. Oh wait, I might actually know. Go on then. Spit it out. I bet I'm a sleepwalker. After I got on the right airship, I fell asleep and then sleepwalked onto the wrong one. To think that all of this could turn out to be part of some elaborate murder plot. Wowee. All of a sudden, I feel like I've walked right into a mystery novel. Sleepwalkers don't change airships, you idiot. I'm all out of breath now. Are you alright? I really do think you should cut down on your smoking. You're not as young as you used to be, you know. Oh right, your 30th birthday was last Friday too, wasn't it? Happy birthday! I bought a cake over in Calvard and had a big celebration for it too. How is it that you can remember useless crap like that and not the things that actually matter? I bet you were just looking for an excuse to eat cake all by yourself, weren't you? You should have seen it, Neil! It was made with Eastern matcha, so it was unlike any cake I'd ever seen. That perfect blend of sweetness and bitterness was just sublime. I took lots and lots of cute pictures of it, so I'll show you them all later. You brought me pictures of a cake? At least bring back a souvenir. Man, they always felt like they could go into business as a comedy duo and actually make money off it, but they're even more of a crack-up now. Wait a second. Yeah, nice to see you again, Neil. You're looking same old, though maybe you're not so happy about that. What are you doing here? Please tell me she didn't end up going to Arteria and causing trouble there, too? Your wish is my command. We just ran into one another on that airship by total coincidence, that's all. Oh, good. You had me worried for a minute. I was scared stiff she'd gone and smashed some super expensive stained glass windows in the cathedral there, or who knows what. I'm so sorry for what you have to put up with. Pshaw, you're too much of a worrywart. Whose fault do you think that is? Still, it's good to see you again, Father. What brings you to Liberal? Something else happen here? Oh, just a bit of work-related business I've got to take care of. It's not part of a major investigation, so don't go getting your hopes up. Nothing of interest is going to happen. Oh, famous last words. I'll be the judge of that. Anyway, so where are you staying for the time being? Grancel Cathedral? I'll have to drop by and say hi sometime when I get the chance. Go for it. In the meantime, I'm dragging your butt right back to the office, Dorothy. You're going to tell us all about what the hell you've been doing these past 2 weeks. You betcha. I snapped photos of every meal I had while I was over in Calvert, so I'm sure if we develop them, I'll be able to remember everything. I'm not talking about your gourmet report. I love those two. Seeing those two together really makes it sink in that I'm back here. Thinking about it, I wonder how all the others here are doing. I know Estelle and Joshua are abroad at the moment, but I've got no idea what the others are up to. Is that you, Father Graham? Cassius? Oh, Sid. Dang it, I always do that. Their hair is similar, I think. Lieutenant Colonel Sid. It's good to see you again. I'm pleased to see you've been keeping well since we last met at that banquet. The same to you, sir. I gotta say, I wasn't expecting you to be the army representative who came to meet me, though. I figured it'd be Julia. It may have been, but she's currently out on another mission, so unfortunately you'll have to make do with me. I didn't have anything better to do, so I came in her place. There's no need to be so modest. A little bird told me that you're going to be promoted to full-on colonel soon, aren't you? I shouldn't be surprised that your people have such a good information network, but I still am. Still, I'm afraid I still feel the position is too much responsibility for me as I am. Brigadier General Bright still has plenty of work left in him, too. I wouldn't want to take any of it from him. Poor Cassius is still getting worked to the bone, huh? Anyway, getting down to business. It's in Grancel Cathedral, right? That's correct. It's being kept underneath it, to be more specific, although I imagine you're already aware of that much. I hear laymen like myself can't even enter it without the knight's permission. Pretty much. It's a special place, you see. I'll fill you in on the details when we get there. Alright then. Well, we may as well head there right away. There's someone I want you to meet in the cathedral. Huh? Who? Let's just say someone who's been assisting with this case. They'll be apprising you of the details on what you're dealing with here. The ice cream line is always so long. Ah, there you are. It's good to see you again, Archbishop. You look very well. Huh? And you must be... I wasn't expecting you to be quite this young. How old are you? Huh? 22, but that's a lot younger than I expected. Are the Gralsritter really so short-staffed that they're handing out their most important posts to kids? You can't blame me for assuming the 5th Dominion would look like more of a veteran, can you? Your surprise is written all over your face. Someone in your position should have a much better poker face than that. Maybe you need to redo your training from scratch? Or are you just acting, I wonder? How do you... Professor Russell, please. He isn't here for you to try and pick a fight with him. Please try and be a little less deliberately provocative. What? Hell, no. He's here to steal the thing we went through so much effort to bring up, and you want me to play nice? And kindly don't call me that ever again. I don't want to be addressed in the same way as that old coot. Of course, ma'am. Wait, Russell? Then are you... I suppose I should introduce myself. I'm Erica Russell. I'm sure it's not a name you're going to be forgetting anytime soon. Either Tita's... Not either. Tita's mom, I'm sure. Either the professor's daughter or daughter-in-law. Still, I sure didn't expect to run into Tita's mother here. I'd heard you and your husband were both living abroad. What brought you back? What do you think? After all that went down here, there was no way I was staying out of the country any longer than I had to. Though with how remote the region we were in is, it was all over by the time word reached us. Had we found out sooner, I sure wouldn't have let that maniac pull half the crap he did. Doesn't sound like you're too happy with the professor nowadays, huh? Talk about an understatement. That whack job actually took my little girl to that floating city with him. I get that he's soft towards her, but that's no excuse for exposing her to danger. That's fair. And as if that isn't bad enough, he let that red-headed scumbag get near her too. That utter cretin isn't fit to be within 50 arg of my darling Tita, never mind actually getting friendly with her. Agate? So, you don't like Agate, huh? Don't you speak that filthy name in front of me ever again. When I'm finished with him, he'll wish he'd never been born. He might have survived that last onslaught, but we'll see how he fares against an even more powerful unit, won't we? She's kind of terrifying, and I don't like her at all. I get the feeling this is a matter we're better off not prying into. I thought the same, so I don't know any more about it than you do. Incidentally, the Professor Russell you're more familiar with is currently vacationing abroad. As such, she has been assisting us with this case in his place. Oh, I see. Are you two listening to me? Sorry, of course. Well, whatever. This staircase sure is long, though. How much farther do we have to go? Not much, as far as I know. Yep, there we go. A dead end? I hope you've got a good explanation for this. I do. This isn't a dead end, but to go any farther, I'm going to need you to undertake a ritual of sorts for me. Well, this certainly took a turn for the strange. Is this an example of the church's famous thaumaturgy? Something like that, yes. Specifically, I would like you to undertake a form of suggestion. I'm not sure I follow. You want us to promise not to tell anyone what we see here, right? That's a little extreme, so no. The Colonel is obviously going to need to report what happened here to his superiors, for one thing. All I want you to promise is that you won't tell anyone who you aren't certain you can trust. I don't need you to say it, I just need you to think and believe it. Weird, but alright. If that's all you want us to do, so be it. I feel the same way. Should we deliberately repeat it in our minds, then? You don't even need to do that. It should just be completely natural to you. Alright, here goes. In the name of she who dwells above, do I hold this consecrated septium. Space is golden glow, consciousness is silver glow. By your opposing natures, reveal to them the path that leads to your sacrament. What? How did that door appear? Thank you both for your assistance. I can see that you were true to your word. I see. So if we just said it, but didn't really mean it, we wouldn't be able to see anything, right? And yet, I can hardly believe what happened. I imagine it would be uncouth for me to ask how all of this works. Yeah, I'd really rather you didn't. Anyway, come on in. Wow, unbelievable. All these years, I had no idea that such a place lay hidden beneath Grancel Cathedral. Well, it's not exactly something we publicize. It was built in accordance with the agreements between the church and royal family. It has but one purpose: to suppress the power of ancient artifacts and keep their influence in check. I see. Its importance to you, Gralsritter, is quite clear then. I'd assume there are similar ones in places other than Liberl too. Well, I won't deny it. Anyway, we call this place a primal ground. Now there's a deep name if I ever heard one. Is the original ground the others are based on in Arteria? I'll take that as a yes. No, I'm not confirming anything. I was just thinking about how much you take after the other Professor Russell's all. Ugh, I'll thank you not to associate me with him. He might trump me a little in the theoretical side of things, but when it comes to the practical side of orbital science, I can beat him in my sleep. And I was the one who designed the fundamental system of the Capelle and the Arce, you know. Really? Nice. But I think we're getting off topic here. This is the object in question, right? That's correct. It was pulled up 3 days ago from the area where the Liber Arc sank, and we believe it to be an artifact. 3 days prior, roughly at the center of Valeria Lake, where the Liber Arc sank. Damn, sun going down already, huh? If this spot turns out to be a bust, we're probably gonna have to call it quits for today. We can only hope. Professor Russell is certain that this is the area we should be looking? Yep, and if she says it's here, it's here. Unfortunately, as you know, Valeria Lake's about as deep as a lake can get. Depending on how small the thing we're looking for is, actually finding it can still be a real task and a half. Is it likely to be small, though? The oral reading suggested we're dealing with quite a large object, I believe. Oh, I wouldn't judge its size based off of those. Ah, Professor. Hey there, kiddo. Finished getting us a new estimated location? Just about. It'd be real swell if you knocked it off with the kiddo, though. I'm not sure it's the most appropriate way to address a married woman, much less one who's already popped out a child. Sorry, but old habits die hard, you know? Hard to make the switch when I've been calling you that since you were about knee-high. Well, I'll let you off this time. Back to work. Can you ask your subordinates to stand down for the time being, Colonel? Is this the spot, then? Were you able to calculate exactly where the object is? Give or take an arg, yes. Judging by the readings, what we're trying to pull up isn't all that big, either. Probably about 50... Greg, that's a new one. Maybe even less? You serious? Thought we'd be dealing with a real monster, not something the size of Antoine. It is Antoine! I was wondering if that's why there was a cat there. Still, if it does turn out to be an artifact, this could get problematic. Unfortunately, the church isn't going to want to let us keep it, that's for sure. Ugh, I really cannot stand them. No matter how hard you work to get your hands on something, the second it turns out to be an artifact, they swoop in like it's their goddess-given right to have it. It ticks me off. Easy there. We don't know for sure that this is even an artifact yet. Regardless, I'll pass on the message to my subordinates right away. I'll leave the rest here to you, Gustav. You got it. Let's see what we're dealing with, yeah? Okay, that's the spot. Go on ahead. Yes, ma'am. Beginning the salvage operation. Sound just fills me with dread. Does the salvage crane sound like it's in poor condition to you? Oh, that's not really what I meant. I just can't bring myself to like artifacts, you see. We can't explain how they have the power they do, but they have it, and it's not something we can ignore either. As a researcher, I can barely imagine anything more frustrating. Even when we can't help but be captivated by them, we're well aware that any attempt to solve their mysteries is pointless. I see. When you put it that way, I can understand to a degree how you must feel. Half a year has passed since all the chaos came to an end, and on the surface we're back to normal. But even now, we still don't know what truly happened here or what it signified. Yeah. Not that I was here to see it all happen, of course. Crane's arms reach the bottom of the lake. I'm gonna attempt to grip the object. Swing and a miss. Moving to the right. Ah, there we go. Yep, we've got it. Want me to pull it up? Please do. The moment of truth, huh? Here we go. What? Oh my. I see. Still, looking at it, correct. There were orbal readings coming from the artifact when we found it, but not anymore. And I'm sure I don't need to spell out the significance of that, do I? No, it's plain as day why you decided to stay and wait for me now. If an artifact has lost its power, it's exempt from the traditional agreements governing them and doesn't need to be given to the church. That it? You already understand me so well. You can cut right to the chase then. The orbal readings disappeared just before we handed the artifact over to the cathedral, as it happens. It's currently being looked after here, but the formal procedures to transfer ownership have yet to be completed, making its legal owner unclear. So, in your expert opinion, what should be done here? This is a tricky one. I'm assuming Liberal wants to assert ownership a bit in this scenario, right? If anything, it's the professor here who wants to do that. I'm merely here accompanying her as a representative of the Royal Army. The only reason I'm not lying at the bottom of Valeria Lake right now is because of ZCF's salvage efforts. I'd say we have every right to keep it, personally. From what I've heard, it's completely impossible to analyze an artifact that's no longer active. I don't see how it'd be of any use to your research as things stand now. But you're sure you want it that badly? Oh, absolutely. We're talking about an object found at the site where a massive floating city used to be. I might not have seen it happen, but it sounds like everything we thought we knew about the world was more or less proven wrong. You know, by the truth that you people in the church have kept hidden for the past, I don't know, 1,000 years. As for that Ouroboros group, they don't make much more sense than you guys. The more I hear about their advances in technology, the less I can work out how it's even possible. I don't know what the truth is or what's really happening here in this land, but I can't stand by and feign disinterest in knowing the answers anymore, and I'm far from alone. So as long as there's the slightest chance that artifact could shed light on all of what I want to know, I want it. I think you've made your point, Professor. It's not as though interrogating him will achieve anything. True enough. Well, you've heard what I've got to say. It's now up to you to tell us what you're going to do. Will you hand over that lump of metal, or won't you? Well, that brief hesitation was all it took to spawn a great evil. Who is she? No way. It crawled through the fields, ran through the hills, and spread disaster in the skies above. An excerpt from the Book of Azer, verse 2. Disaster Unleashed. I apologize for the delay in coming, Father Graham. My name is Reese Argent, and I am a squire of the Grancel. I look forward to working under you. I didn't think we'd end up having more company. Wait a second. Is something the matter? So that's how they think they can get me, is it? But they can't just bribe me so easily. I'm better than that. Maybe I underestimated the Grancel. They think they can break my will to fight by sending a girl like you my way, do they? But I'm not going to go down so easily, because I've got a secret weapon of my own. Behold, the most powerful force in the universe. That's Tita, isn't it? How cute. Isn't she? Isn't she? I bet you just want to jump into this photo and squeeze her like a stuffed toy right now, don't you? I should have known a cutie patootie like you would be able to appreciate the same qualities in others. Anyway, That's why no matter how frickin' adorable you may happen to be, you can't take me down, because I've got a natural immunity. I beg your pardon, but I'm afraid I'm not really following. You keep saying that someone is cute, but are you referring to me? Who else would I be talking about? You've got such an aura of maturity about you, and yet your features still have that irresistible trace of innocence to them. And then they throw you into a sister's habit to compliment it all like a little cherry on top. That's the most flattering habit I've ever seen. If I didn't have my protective field, I'd be in real danger here. Why are you looking at me like that? I'm just saying. Might I inquire as to the identities of the people with you, Father Graham? Sure. The lady's Professor Erica Russell of ZCF, while the gentleman is Lieutenant Colonel Sid of the Royal Army. Seriously though, Father Graham? Really? Ah, so you're the people who initially discovered the artifact then? Thank you for your cooperation in our work. We will take over looking after it from here on out. That will be all. Wait a... what? Oh, hold on a minute. We hadn't finished deciding what to do with it yet. Perhaps not, but my intention was to save you the time and effort required to do so by making the correct judgment myself. Whether it has lost its power or not, that is no ordinary artifact. It is potentially related to one of the Septarians. I'm surprised that you even humored the option of letting an outsider take custody of it. I mean... Well, you sure know how to pick a fight. Go on then. What legal basis do you have for taking it from us? The agreements with the Church quite clearly say that artifacts that have lost their power are exempt from the usual rules. I have no legal basis, but you have no more of one for keeping it. If we are following the agreements to the letter, no one is allowed to assert ownership of inactive artifacts. It belongs to neither you nor me. It is simply an abandoned object with no owner whatsoever. What? So all you got is I don't need a reason? It's mine and that's final? To put it bluntly, yes. Well, if that's how you want to play it. What's your take on this, Kevin Graham? Well, by all means. Me? I thought I had been kicked out of this conversation. But, well, I can't say I don't want to take it back to Arteria with us. But after all the help Liberal's given us, I'd feel kinda bad just snatching it from them without even giving them a valid reason. Both arguments have a degree of merit, but neither is clearly more correct. I'm not quite sure how you'll solve this one. You, do know that you're smack dab in the middle of this too, right? Whoa. What is it? Why do you both look so surprised? What do you mean, why? Did the two of you not hear that? Hear what? Wait a... Oh. Well, I'd say it's theirs now. I would say that belongs to the Church. Wow. Oh, no way! That thing wasn't giving off any orbal readings at all anymore. Zero. Zip! Why is it suddenly active again? I believe that settles our dispute. It sure does. So the real artifact was inside, huh? I've never seen one quite like it. It looks like a box of some kind. Or a cube, maybe. I'd like to thank you two for your cooperation in the recovery of this artifact. In accordance with the pacts of the Church, I, Kevin Graham, will be assuming custody of it from here on out. You, and all who aided you, have the Septian Church's deepest appreciation. Okay, we're going to end this episode right here. A heck of a lot happened during this one. We got to meet up with some of our old favorite characters, got to meet a few new characters. I really don't like the professor. She very much bothers me, but we also got to meet Reese, which is going to be interesting. So we'll see what happens after this, but I'm already very intrigued with this game. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.